people are thinking that next weekend.
It was posted.
I know, but
We're good. But it's next week is the 19th, so we can't meet next
right.
week.
Oh, I'm good, thank you. I'm still tasting my burnt hamburger.
I can't eat that yet. March 2nd, though, we're having a pizza party for lunch. Just telling people.
With the salad from Linda.
What?
Oh, it's,
April 2nd.
and that makes really good pasta.
Danielle with the salad from Linda. Will they still donate that? Because I've had dinner tonight. I really don't want to cook.
He told me he wasn't coming, but he told you he was.
Okay, all right, whatever.
He told we can do that next time though. He told me he was not coming.
Right.
So maybe he talked to you before he talked to me.
Okay.
I don't know. You talked to John Cowick too?
Okay.
You talked to John Cowick today?
Are we doing a recorder right now? Yes. Okay, all right.
Oh.
Here we go. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the February 12th Board of Selectmen's meeting, 2018. If you could just please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, folks, for coming this evening. Up first under new business is meet the candidates night. It's the scheduling, and that is going to be for the end of this month, the 26th. So 2/26/18
6:30 p.m.
at 6:30 p.m. And that is going to be run by Chris Jacobs, the moderator.
It's right.
So, what's that?
It's right in this
Yeah,
room.
it's right in this room. So, hope to see everybody here on the 26th to meet the new candidates. Up next is the deliberative session debriefing, and Heather has put something in for the debriefing. I just want to thank everybody for coming to the deliberative session that came and supported the town, and I appreciate that. It's nice to know that we'll be able to move forward and do the good things that we want to do for the residents and give them the best service possible for the tax dollar, and that's our goal. Do you guys have anything that you want to say?
Just one comment. I think that we should thank the people who work in the town office and also the people, the department heads, for all of the preliminary work which was done in preparation for the deliberative session. I think they all did an excellent job.
Most definitely.
And helping us out, making sure that we were well prepared for what we were going to be doing.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, couldn't have done it without them. So thank you for all that help. Sure, go ahead.
I just think what Tim just said is really important. But I think we're right on the cusp of a fantastic future, and that particularly points out all the things that we've done that are going to get us going with this great future we have.
Most definitely. Yeah. No, I appreciate that, Pam.
I wanted to thank the department heads. I wanted to thank everybody who worked so hard to get the deliberative session up and running, the budget committee. I think the budget committee, the Board of Selectmen, and all the department heads put a lot of time and effort into getting this budget passed. And now we just need to hope the voters support us when we go forward with this. We all know that the assessments did not come out where we needed them to and where we expected them to. And I just wanted to assure the public that Avatar is going to be looking at all the abatements that are filed in the next couple of weeks. They'll be starting, they'll get going on this, and we're going to be moving in the right direction and taking the actions that need to support our public. So that's where we are.
Do people still have time to do an abatement, or is it time gone by?
No, you have till March 1st. I was gonna,
Okay.
but no. So since we're
People
talking
were
about,
asking, they didn't think there was anything they could do. And
Yeah.
I said, sure, sponge the town office and
Yeah.
talk to us.
yeah, no, you have till March 1st, and that's was actually in my selectmen's comments. But since we're bringing it up,
We
if
have till March 1st to file.
yeah, till March 1st to file, and if anybody, wants to file for an abatement, please come down, talk to Kathy Wallensford, and she will steer you in the right direction to file your abatement. So that's.
But But
that's that.
everybody who was at the deliberative session really worked hard. I also want to thank Erin and Danielle for working so hard on the bake sale that Saturday. That was a
And Laura.
success. And Laura. I think that worked out well, and I think we all showed what a great community this is.
Mhm.
So, thank you.
Yeah. Larry, Brian?
If the camera is panning the room, I should point out that the Budget Committee is actually here by legal quorum and absolutely accidental. That having been said, the Budget Committee, for my part in it, just wants to thank the work done for the preparation of the numbers, and the word is not used enough, collegial work of colleagues that was done to put the final numbers together.
Very good, thank you, Larry. You're absolutely right. So, okay, up next, we have a public hearing at 6:30. So it's a little too early for that. So up next, I guess we'll talk about the town records, documents, and discussions. And we do have the town treasurer here tonight. So, I guess it came to a point here where some documents aren't being brought back to the town hall after since you're here, Pam. Since after a bank run, we're paying for a round trip on the bank run. So shouldn't you actually, after you're done?
Can I just ask us if we want to go into non-public? I was told you were not going to be talking about anybody in particular. This is going to be a general conversation. So at this point, I would like us to go.
First of all, we can't go into a non-public.
Yes, you can.
Because we're actually elected.
You
So,
can go into non-public at any time when someone from the floor asks for it.
well, we're gonna actually talk about this policy here, and if you're welcome to join in with us and talk about the policy and what I would expect, and I don't know if my colleagues are on the same page, but that's where we're at with this. So you're welcome. I'm glad you're here just to talk about it.
I'd like to talk about it in a general way, not particularly talking about individuals or departments or whatever. If you want to talk about me, then I ask you to go into non-public.
Okay. Well, so we're going to talk about a draft policy. Did you guys get to review this draft policy? Did you, Ryan?
I just recently. No.
Okay. Oh, do you want to show Tim this policy?
So, I guess I just want to say that I
All right, go ahead.
was under the impression that this conversation was just in general, not based towards any one or any particular
Thank you, Ryan.
documents in particular.
Thank you.
But there has been some audit findings in the past that have recommended that we make sure documents are kept in town hall, and that's where this is all stemming from my understanding. So
we have a
I'm
draft
sure we
there.
can have
We
a
draft. I was told there was no draft.
point of order. I'm speaking, and
Yep.
the chair should really be calling on people before they're talking. So I forgot where I was, but anyway, hopefully we can get somewhere tonight here, and the whole purpose of this conversation is just to make sure that we are following through with recommendations made from audits and following all state statutes to our fullest. So.
Can I be recognized, please?
Yes, you may.
Can the audience have a copy of what you're looking at? We were told there was no draft, there was no written anything. So can we have a copy of that? So we can participate in
Go
the
ahead.
discussion?
The draft is coming from legal counsel. It came in late this afternoon after 4:30. So there was no "we." It was a discussion between myself and the Board of Selectmen, Pam. It came in after 4:30, so there's no "we." It's my conversation between legal counsel, which actually is privileged. And so there's nobody who's been not given this information. It just, when a legal document comes in from legal counsel, goes to the Board of Selectmen and myself.
I mean, really, I mean, there should be zero tolerance on any records that, from any committee, from even ourselves. This is for us, too. They should not be left, they should not be taken out of this town hall. Simple as that. They should be kept in town hall, in their right places, and if it needs to be, locked up. And that's really the end of really, there's zero tolerance. There shouldn't be any records taken out of this town hall. End of it. Simple. And I mean, God forbid, I mean, not anybody, if they take a record out of this town hall and God forbid something happens to them, or you know, they lose it or whatever, I mean, we need to protect the town and the taxpayers, and to have records just floating out wherever, it just can't be happening. And really, that's what we're talking about. And this was a recommendation from our auditor, like Ryan said, and from our town attorney. And I'm fine with this draft town policy. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think it meets all the criteria, and I'm fine with it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I agree that we should have a policy, and that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about individuals. What we're doing is talking about a policy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we really do need a policy in this particular area. And it would be our job to enforce the policy. And if the policy isn't followed, then we'll have to go to another step.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Totally agree with you.
This is serious. You're right. Thank you.
I totally agree.
Yeah, I think, I mean, the key is basically all records will be stored and kept at town hall at all times. I mean, copies can be taken from town hall, but the key thing of this is we need to make sure the originals stay at town hall. And it's basically good practice.
And it's for all
I-
departments.
Right, all departments, everybody across the board, like Andy has said, ourselves. It's okay to take copies, but the originals need to be kept at town hall. It's where the records are supposed to be kept. It's good practice, and I think overall we do pretty good at that. But there are some areas for improvement, and I think that's what we need to work on. And I think this is just kind of setting it in stone that this is what we need to be doing. So I don't believe we actually have any.
We have something in the financial policy, but this really addresses every area, so, and it isn't as clear cut.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, our lawyer did write this up. I mean, I don't know if you guys are fine with it. We can read it,
Mm-hmm.
and if it's something that we want to adopt, so be it. We'll adopt it. But it's certainly better than.
Just as a point of the note on the top, you really should keep off because that's a memo from the lawyer.
Right here?
Yeah, take that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I want to just read off
Remember,
the
he
actual
doesn't,
policy first.
he doesn't like, remember, we've gotten into trouble when we've read
Mm-hmm.
things were verbatim from the lawyer, so I just want you to follow that.
Sure. So, I mean, are you...
Yeah, do you want to read
Yeah.
just the policy?
Yeah, definitely. So, I just wanted to make sure that you guys are fine with it, that's all.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so whereas almost all paperwork and documents
That's
that...
the part you want to skip, though, right? You want to start here. This is the memo from the town attorney, and this is the policy.
Okay, well, you said right here.
Yeah,
You said this, so down here?
Sorry.
yeah, down there.
Okay, so public records are to be maintained in the town hall and not removed from the town hall in a normal course of business. 2, if there is ever an emergency or good town business reason, not merely for personal convenience, for the temporary removal of records that shall only occur after A, written approval for removal from the department in which the record was created or maintained. B, copies shall be made and kept in town hall of all papers to be temporarily removed. And C, before removal of documentation shall be created and left at the town hall, describing the date and removal, the reason for this temporary removal, the person who is removing the pages, and when the pages will be returned.
So, question for Heather, if that's all right. Do you see any issues or concerns with
I don't,
maintaining what this is
I
asking
don't.
for?
We have file cabinets and they're locked.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it.
You want me to make a motion? One of us should make a motion.
Yep. You
Yeah, no, I mean, if you guys are fine with it, just, I'll make a motion.
want to make a motion?
Sure. I make a motion that we accept this document as read.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
We'd like to have a
Point of
comment.
order.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I asked you not vote on this until I had a non-public session with you.
I apologize, but that's, unfortunately, it's not the way it works. So, if you want a non-public with us, fill the appropriate paperwork out and get it in, and we'd love to have a non-public with you. But, like I
For
said,
only reasons that we can under 91A.
yeah, I mean, you have to remember, I mean, we are elected officials, and our non-publics are really, I mean, so, okay. Do you have a question?
Yes. I understand what you guys are getting at and everything, and do we not have any kind of statute or anything that refers to this? Because this seems to me it would be very high on the list for procedures. And now that you have an idea of what kind of procedure, are you going to be writing up a procedure so it becomes a legal document?
That's what we just did.
This is illegal.
That's really not a procedure. It doesn't give more, it needs more depth to it and definition, that's all I'm saying. What that is an outline maybe of what you want to go into.
No, that's the policy. That is now the policy that we just voted on.
Well, a procedure doesn't work that way, not like that. I mean, it's not, I'm not trying to make trouble or anything like this. What I'm trying to say is
What do you mean?
just give it more
I just need
depth
to take
and
part of
find
this
out
so
if
this
there's
part
anything
comes
that
out.
supports this type of thing in all of our books and everything else. I can't imagine there isn't, because I've never heard of people taking home originals
Well,
from
like Heather
places
said,
like this.
we have something written up, something similar to this in our financial policy. But this really makes it very clear about documents leaving the town hall, and when they leave, and how they leave, and,
I guess what I'm looking for is there a form you fill out in order to take it? Is it your name, things like that? That's kind of an oath, you know what I mean?
right.
And that way, if somebody wants to take a document, copy it, and everything else, it's defined. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
We'll have to,
Yeah, it's a good point, Lynette. I appreciate it.
It's
And
just out there.
no, and Heather is gonna maybe you know, get a form or something that somebody can sign. You know.
Yeah, that's all,
So-
you know.
I see your note on here.
What's that?
I see your note on here.
Oh, okay.
I'll give this to you.
So, go ahead, Pam.
When's this gonna be effective?
Right, as of right now. We're just trying to protect the town, really. That's our jobs. And unfortunately, I'm sorry if it doesn't work out for some people, but this is the way it has to be. And that's it. So. Okay, anything else? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Larry, I didn't even see your hand up.
I wanted to follow up on what Lynette was asking. Do we have a definition of document? Do we have a definition of document that includes a sales receipt for $1.37 for Milton Hardware for 2 washers to go to the highway department?
That's not really what this is about.
So a slip of paper that is a receipt for a transaction is not a document.
That's not really what this is about, Larry.
That wasn't my question.
This is about documents leaving the town hall without or not being here without either the town administrator knowing or ourselves. That's what this is about.
Yeah, because the question that leads to is how do you plan to maintain the records of what were the cemetery trustees, the records of the Recreation Commission, and how do you propose to determine that no employee works on the records of the town, taking them home without following that particular process, signing them in and out. We have records for about, I think it's 196 cemeteries. And John Catwick has been exemplary in maintaining those records. And to the best of my knowledge and belief, we have him at John's, and he is a wonderful resource. And it is a record of the town. So the concept, as Lynette said, the consequences of that, and how you define a document, when it becomes a document, I believe there is
Anything that's subject that is requested to a 91A is a document. And
It says right in here, public records.
yeah. And, you
It
know,
also says in here that
91A 3C also says any person may request non-public, and it does not say there's a form to fill out.
well, if you want to request a non-public, there is a form, Larry, thank you, to fill out. And it's sitting right out on Kathy Wallensford's desk. It's a legal document that needs to be filled out to have a non-public. And it's been that way, well, for a year anyways, that we just adopted that, so.
I mean, we're trying to have a discussion about town records and documents, and I don't quite get how that goes into non-public, but that's what the agenda item is we are on, town records and document discussion. So we should be able to have that conversation in public. I don't see any reason why we would need to go into non-public right now. And I don't think we legally can.
Anything else, Larry?
No, thank you.
Okay. Pam?
When is everybody gonna have a copy of this document, this policy?
Probably tomorrow morning.
Okay. Tomorrow morning.
I'll make copies.
Tomorrow morning.
Put it on the town website.
Yeah,
Get up there tomorrow.
sure. Okay. Okay, so up next, no, we have a public hearing, Keno public hearing at 6:30, so we have to
3 minutes.
wait 3 minutes for that.
Jump down to the minutes, maybe?
Okay, sure, go ahead. You want to jump down to the minutes? That's fine.
You good with the minutes?
I've read them, yes.
I have. Andy, you
Yeah,
good
I'm
with them?
good, yeah.
I will make a motion to accept the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes for February 5th, 2018.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
that it on?
Mhm.
On the, do we have anything on the treasurer's report?
We have one, yeah. It's at the end of the month, though.
What's that?
I don't think we have one, but it's at the end of the month. We should
Okay.
get them later
I
on.
think you did that last week.
We just said that.
Okay. Thank you. The expenditure report?
Expenditure report.
Anything?
Anything's jumping out? Again, we're not, because the
Anything?
budget hasn't been approved, it's not showing against.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's jumping out. Nothing's really,
Yeah. Everything looks pretty copacetic on the expenditure report. Do you want to, we have a couple of minutes, do you want to just wait, or do you want to?
I can do mine.
Okay.
We had some good news. That we had another grant come in to our fire chief. The local emergency operations plan update project was approved. We got word of that Thursday, February 8th. That was another grant that our fire chief wrote, so I want to congratulate our fire chief on that. And so that became effective, so I think that's good news. So congratulations to our fire chief.
Just a question, how much was the grant?
$4,000.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I think we covered it a little bit earlier, that the deliberative session, we appreciated everybody's help and everything went into that. Town report, now that the articles are complete and the ballot is pretty much set, we're expecting the town report to go out the next, I think it's the first week of March, what should be out, and also the voter's guide will be mailed on March 5th. So we're working to get that together. The town reports are all coming in. There's a couple stragglers, but we're getting there. I think everybody's starting to turn those in. And it looks like that will be taken care of in the next couple weeks. So again, some people had questioned why the annual report isn't done until after the deliberative session. It can't be done until after the deliberative session because we need to know what's going to be put on the actual voting, what you're voting on. It has to be finalized at the deliberative session. So that is done now, and we can move on to the next phase and get people on ready to go vote. So that's what I had to comment on. There is a pancake breakfast this weekend and a lot going on at the Winter Carnival, and I'll let Andy talk about that later. I won't steal his thunder.
No, I'm fine. All right, so it is now actually 6:30. We will open up the Keno public hearing. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? So, the Chapter 229 of the 2017 New Hampshire laws, SB 191, provides for additional education grants for schools, districts, and have a full-time kindergarten, with the funding for those grants to come in part from the proceeds of Keno operation. The new law allows businesses that hold liquor licenses, restaurants, hotels, private clubs, and certain other establishments to operate Keno games upon obtaining a license from the Liquor Commission. However, Keno may be operated only in cities and towns that have a vote to allow it. So the new laws have generated many questions from municipalities, officials, and below is some questions. So now the public hearing is open. Do I have any comments from the public?
The only thing I'm worried about is that when we had our meetings this last weekend,
Mhm.
the one thing that wasn't said, and please correct me if I'm wrong and I didn't hear it right, was that even if we don't get the Keno, our kids will still have the privilege of getting money from that, simply from it being in the state.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that
Okay.
that is correct. It's just that more people that participate in the Keno, you know, more towns that participate in it,
Sure.
the higher the pot goes that each municipality gets.
And I should be defined like that so they'd understand and everything, because I don't think it was at the meeting. So that's why I'm saying this now, so
Yeah.
maybe people can hear again.
Right. Well, she did actually say, and don't quote me, but I'm just, she said between $1,100 and $1,800. I don't have it in front of me.
You're right,
Yeah. And she said that, it will be definitely the 1,100 per student, but the more towns that participate in Keno, the higher the pot goes. So,
That makes
and
sense.
it helps out, the businesses of the town and
It brings
so
new
forth.
business in.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and provides some employment for maybe, within the town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely.
That's where I'm going, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, no, most definitely. That's exactly what that I was told from
Yeah.
the people in Concord. So, anybody else? Okay, state your name.
Larry Brown.
Thank you.
Very much so. Just what I hope are three short pages.
Mm-hmm.
First off, Keno won't affect me, one way or the other. But I am getting tired of transparency when what I want is clear, direct, and complete information. The presentation done by Keno was sweet and polite, but I don't like air-kiss presentations that don't give a complete review. Perhaps you would not ask a Chevy engineer to talk about how great a Ford engine is, but even so. I don't particularly like math, but I respect it. I put $1 in the bank, I want $1 receipt. When I add 2 and 2, I want 4, and that's what math is. When you flip a coin, math says you have a 50-50 chance for heads. That's a 1 in 2 chance. Keno says up front that the best odds you will ever see are 1 in 4. You win 1 time out of 4. That's 25% of the time, and that's how Keno makes money. You will never beat their math. Keno is not a game. Keno is not a sport. Keno is gambling, and Keno sets you up to lose. Keno already knows, they have done the math, that they will pay out close to $500,000 for gambling addiction, alcoholism, domestic abuse, and related social costs. And that is one reason why the Interfaith Council of Churches in New Hampshire opposes it. Keno depends on about 4 things. It depends on what they call in psychology intermittent reinforcement. It depends on having no external cues. It depends on the dynamics of group behavior and physiological states. The best way to get a lab rat to press a bar, to get a food pellet, is to make the payoff random. That's intermittent reinforcement. That's why casinos will not allow card counters who try to improve their odds. If you can't figure out the payoff, you keep going. 80 numbers every 5 minutes. That's Keno. Groups feed off their common interests. That's why you have Super Bowl parties. In psych class, we call it potentiating behavior. You will never hear in any academic circle the phrase beer buddy buzz. But that is what Keno says in its own materials, that alcohol does loosen inhibitions, and the Keno site says that the pouring establishment atmosphere builds Keno sales. But if you spend $20 a week for a year, basically it's $1,000. Here's 2 ways to do it. First, You buy 2 large pizzas at Pizza Nook. You put everything on. You give Frank a tip, 40 bucks, and you've got 2 good pizzas for 40 bucks. For the rest of the year, you put $20 a week in the bank. At the end of the year, you have $1,000 and 2 damn good pizzas. Now, if you want to earn $500 next year, you buy 2 pizzas at Pizza Nook, and you leave Frank a good tip. Now you play Keno for 50 weeks, $20 a week, 4 times, you win once, spend $20 to win $10. That's it. So, at the end of the year, you win $500. And it only cost $1,000 to do it. Pizza Nook is a sure bet. Keno is a 4-to-1 loser. The last thing, if you support public education and you support community, when somebody tells me they support kindergarten when Keno pays for it, the message I hear is that kindergarten for our children is not worth it unless gambling pays for it. There's a bigger problem on Keno. SB 193, all related to gambling funds. There's $63 million waiting to be pulled out of money going for public education if SB 193 comes through. $8.5 million coming in from Keno leaves that education fund still $40 million short. And if you make 3 times the poverty level of $75,000, you can pull your education money out of public education. You can send it to St. Paul, you can send it to Exeter, you can send it to Brewster, and you can send it to Berwick. And that is sending our local tax money, property dollars, out of the community. And there's an old gambling joke. If you look around the room and you can't tell who the pigeon is, guess what? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Anybody else? Okay, I will, at 6:40, close the public hearing.
Second, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good. Okay, so up next, we have Selectmen's comments. Tim? Do you have anything, Tim?
I understand that it's the right and responsibility of people to speak in public meetings, as this meeting and at deliberative sessions. And however, I feel as though if someone wants to speak negatively about a certain issue relative to the budget, perhaps it might be a good idea if they try to run for a public office. I understand there are a couple of positions open on the budget committee for next year. I would suggest maybe an involvement in the process would make a person more aware of what's going on, rather than to stand up at a public meeting and asking straight across the board for a certain % decrease. I think they should perhaps spend their time working with other people to determine what is best for the town. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent, very good, thank you.
Teamwork, that's for sure. I'm good.
You're good. Okay, so I really have just a couple of things. Heather touched base on it, but I will just say the Winter Carnival is this weekend. The 17th is on this Saturday. It's just a fun day filled with activities for all. It's down at the town beach. There is on our website, and it's all over town, Karen's list of activities for the day, or the whatever agenda or whatever you want to call it, but that will be this Saturday. And like Heather said, I'll reiterate about the pancake breakfast at the fire station. It's at 8 o'clock. if anybody is interested in going to the pancake breakfast that Nick is going to be putting on and his guys. You can go and check out the new fire station if you already haven't. It's a great facility, and they're very appreciative of what they have down there, and go and check it out. And this Sunday, on the 18th, it's going to be the Recreation's basketball banquet. That'll be at the high school, or junior high. It's all the same, I guess, in the cafeteria. I think that's all I have. That's it. So I will open up to... Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. I got Karen on my mind reading these activities. Heather, go ahead.
I just
Sorry.
wanted to remind the public there is no meeting next week because of the holiday, so there's no meeting on the 19th. Normally we meet the first and the third Monday night. We are not meeting next week. And then the following week is the candidates night, so then we'll be meeting March 5th. So.
Very good. So up next is public comments. I just want to say that the room looks beautiful with our new addition, with our seats here. Pretty comfy, huh, Bob? Very good. So that's a nice addition. Up next, anyways, public comments. Any public comments? Erin?
Erin Hutchings. I just wanted to say thank you not only to y'all for helping out Laura and Danielle with the bake sale on the last week during the deliberative session, but also the town people Lynette, who came out and baked, dropped off goods. It was a great showing. Thank you to all the people who bought all of those baked goods and lunches, and it really went well, and was able to support Dennis and Nancy, and we really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for all your hard work.
And I have extra needles in my car afterwards if anybody wants them.
So thank you, Aaron. Anybody else, Lynette?
No. You can't be grumpy all the time. Is there any way the Model T Club can bring winter weather back for us?
Winter weather, that's always a problem.
Yeah, especially living in New England. So, everybody else all set? Public comments? Okay. Oh, Chief, sorry.
You should probably let the public know that the roads have been posted due to the warm weather and due to the damage that some of the trucks have been doing to the roads due to the weather.
Okay, yep, most definitely. The Chief just said, if you didn't hear him, that the roads in Milton have been posted for, I think it's what, 26,500 pounds? Anything over?
5 tons.
5 tons, anything over 5 tons. Because due to warm weather, the roads are taking a beating from heavy equipment or trucks or whatever, so that was posted today, so, yeah.
So any trucking company that needs to come into town needs to contact Public Works Director Pat Smith to get a waiver to be able to do deliveries in town. And then any resident who does trucking from their home just needs to come to the board and get the waiver again from you guys like they do in the springtime.
Yeah. Very good. So, all right. Thanks, Chief. Anything else? Okay. So, yep. Go ahead, Tom.
Tom McDougall, if I could ask the board to stay seated for a minute after we're done. I need to readjust the camera. I'd like to make sure I get everybody in it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tom. Yes. I do want to thank Tom McDougall for everything he does. I mean, he constantly is, and Bob. They both do the recording, and I just can't thank them enough for all their hard work. So thanks, Tom. Thanks, Bob. So make an adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You did it.